I noticed it was a little different when I was logging also.
Yeah. Okay,
So
thank
I'll
you,
make
Ashley.
make it a little easier.
Yeah, the link wasn't at the top. It was buried. You had to click on something to get to the link.
Okay, I'll take a look and try to get rid of a lot of that extra stuff.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, there's Miss Lisa Baker.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, guys. Hey.
Hi, Lisa.
Eric Baker. Here, do you know that your video's not on, or if it's on, there might be something covering the camera?
I didn't know that. I clicked on, this is why I don't usually use my home computer, because it never picks up. But let's see. It says stop video, and it's not stopped. So I'll try it on my own. I'll send this link to the other computer.
Or if you go to the iPad and you scroll down where it says open notes, it should have a link.
Okay. Yes. No, actually, no. Topic, my meeting notes, notes. Okay. Join meeting is in Zoom, I can see that. Packet. Zero, okay, there's nothing there.
Okay, you ready, Pierre?
Yeah, you can't see me though, right?
No, not yet.
Well, you're not gonna get to, probably.
Okay, be that way.
I'm here.
All right, we're going to call to order this meeting of the Winter City Council on Tuesday, December 1st at 6:30 p.m. And we'll start with the roll call, please. Ashley.
Actually, Tracy is going to be doing that for the first part until I get officially clerked in.
Okay, I didn't see her on the screen. Tracy, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, roll call, please.
Okay, Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Lauren.
Here.
Councilmember New.
Here?
Mayor Pro Tem Biazzi.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah.
Here.
And Mayor Cowan.
Here. Okay, next we'll try to do this Pledge of Allegiance on Zoom. Lisa Baker, you want to lead us in the pledge?
Yes, thank you. To have every heart and repeat with me. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Man, I can't wait for that part of Zoom to be over. That's the hardest part. Yep, okay. Next, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda, Kathleen?
Yes, thank you. Mayor, we'd like to move item D, which is the appointment of the fundraising committee member and the city liaison for the senior center furniture and fixtures committee to discussion. And take that off the consent calendar.
All right. Okay. With that one change, unless somebody's got something else, we'll take a motion for approval of the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Second. New.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Lauren and a second by Councilmember New. Tracy, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Anderson? Oh, I'm muted, I'm sorry. Okay. Councilmember Anderson?
Aye.
Councilmember Lauren?
Aye.
Councilmember New?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Biassi?
Aye.
And Mayor Cowan?
Aye. Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. All right, now we'll move on to council and staff comments. And we will start with Councilmember Lauren.
Thank you, Mayor Cowan. On November 30th, I met telephonically with City Manager Kathleen Trepa to review tonight's agenda. And I participated telephonically in the California League of Cities League Leaders Conference, which focused on the legislative year in review, a look ahead, and the strategic goal setting for 2021. And that conference will continue throughout this week and next week. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Anderson.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Yesterday I met to review tonight's agenda with City Manager Kathleen Trepa.
City Manager right here.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember New.
Short list, but on the 17th of November, I helped interview for the Senior Furniture fundraising group. And on the 18th, I helped interview for the advisory commission for the senior group. And then this morning, I met with our city guests to go over the agenda. Thank you, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Biassi.
Thank you, Mayor. It's been quite a couple of weeks for me also. On the 18th, I sat in on a Zoom meeting, part of it with Supervisor Saylor. It was on the LNU fire and what the next steps are for that. So a whole list of recommendations, and we have to draft the proposals. And on the 30th, I met with the city manager for the agenda review.
Okay, thank you. And as mentioned by Councilmember New, on the 17th and 18th, him and I did the interviews for the two senior committees. And then also, I was on the meeting with the LNU fire response group. And then on the 19th, I attended the staff meeting. And let me see. So yesterday I had a call with the city manager to discuss tonight's agenda. And that's all I have as well. Thank you, everybody, for all your hard work on the extra assignments. All right, next we'll move on to public comment. This is a time for anybody from the public that would like to make comments to the city council on items which are not on the agenda. Tracy, do we have anybody with their hand up or that has indicated that they'd like to comment in public comment?
I don't see anybody.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the consent calendar. Kathleen, I believe you'll address these items.
Yes, thank you. Our first consent calendar item are the minutes of the last regular council meeting on November 17th. The next item is the appointment of Ashley Bouchard as our new city clerk. She will be replacing Tracy Jensen, and lots of kudos to Tracy for her time as city clerk. She is retiring at the end of the month. Also on the consent calendar is the appointment of 2 members to the Senior Commission on Aging, 1 primary and 1 alternate. And the last item is the recommendation to reject a claim against the City of Winters for a fatality accident that occurred outside of the jurisdiction, outside of Winters, and the City of Winters has no involvement with the accident. So those are the items on the consent calendar.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anybody on the council have any questions or concerns on the consent calendar? Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember New and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Biazzi. Tracy, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Anderson,
Aye.
Councilmember Lauren,
Aye.
Councilmember New,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Biazzi,
Aye.
Mayor Cowan.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. All right, we're moving on. We have no presentations tonight, so we'll move on to discussion items. And the first one is the introduction and first reading of ordinance 2020-06. And that's an ordinance from City Council for repealing the suspension of section 3.24.080 and 3.24090 Winners Municipal Code concerning payment of TOT. And I think Kathleen, are you going to address this?
No, I'll defer that to Shelley, please. She has
Okay.
worked on this item.
Okay, Shelley, welcome back.
Good evening, council. Before you tonight, staff is bringing the first reading or proposing that you waive the first reading and read by title only ordinance number 2020-06, repealing the suspension of sections 3.24.080 and 3.2490 of the Winners Municipal Code concerning payment of transit occupancy tax. Back in April, when we were in our shutdown order, the city adopted ordinance 2020-02, which suspended the section 3.2408.08.
Hold on a minute. Sandy Vickery, turn your mic. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Shelley.
So we suspended that and suspended the collection of penalties and interest on hotel and the Abbey House Inn if they did not timely remit their transit occupancy tax, also known as TOT, to the city. And this was taken in response to the COVID crisis and the stay-at-home order. And so what we were trying to do was allow for some pivoting for the businesses so that they would be able to continue to operate financially during the stay-at-home order. Both the Abbey House Inn and the Hotel Winners closed in March, April, and May due to the stay-at-home orders. The Hotel Winners began operating again in June, and the Abbey House Inn began operating sometime in the third quarter. And I know that based on the TOT reports they are submitting. So while they weren't required to pay their TOT, they were required to submit their reports. The Hotel Winners submit their reports monthly, and Abbey House Inn submits their reports quarterly. So at this point, they are now collecting TOT, both of them. And right now, the amount, or at the time the staff report was prepared, the estimated balance due was $90,431 from both of these businesses. I received another report, so we can tack on another $21,000 to that. So I asked our city attorney about potentially reversing this emergency ordinance that we did back in April. My concern is that we continue to defer the TOT, the number is just going to get larger and larger and larger, and that will in effect then become a hardship on the business trying to catch that up all at one time. So they have been collecting, both the Hotel Winners and Abbey House Inn have been collecting the TOT from their guests as required. They have been providing reports that are required so that we are aware of the TOT that has been deferred by each of the establishments. So I think that by the time we get to the end of the fiscal year, the deferred amount is going to be close to $166,000, and that's part of our budget that we budgeted on. And so we need to reverse this ordinance so that it doesn't become such a big burden on businesses easier for them to start paying this back. And it also impacts the ability for the city to provide services by not having this cash flow coming in. So what we're proposing is that the ordinance, if approved, will take effect February 1st, 2021. So we would continue the deferral through January 31st, 2021. Then the February TOT that's collected would be due by the end of March from the hotels that they report monthly, so they would get back on their monthly pattern. And then they would have until June 30th, 2021 to pay all of the deferred fees from last January through this January, basically an entire year. They would have through June 30th, 2021 to pay that in full to the city. And then everybody will be back on the normal schedules that we have. So that's my report for this evening.
Okay, thank you very much, Shelley. Is there any questions from council?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem Biaggi.
Yeah, Shelley, I wasn't quite clear on this. So we're deferring basically for a year's worth, let's say, starting in February, will they have to be paying us on time without any deferrals?
Yes, so the way it works is beginning February 1st, they'll collect their fees just like they normally do through the end of February. Those TOT amounts are then due to the city by March 31st. So they're always a month behind, but we would start getting back on the regular schedule of February was paid in March was paid in April. We would start that February 1st. And then in addition to that, they would have until June 30th, so basically another 5 months to come up with the balance that has been deferred for the last year.
Okay. And have we heard anything from, say, the operations like Airbnb, the vacation rentals? You know, Airbnb, there was an agreement that they would collect TOT, and we have never seen any of that.
So we were getting it. It looks like they were taking advantage of the deferral because the last money we got was in January 2020. I did contact them this week. I sent an email out to my contact and asked them what their intent was as far as getting back on schedule, or were they waiting for this ordinance? I've not heard back from them yet, but we were getting quarterly remittances from Airbnb up until the time we passed the ordinance for the urgency ordinance, allowing them to kind of use it as a float, basically.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anybody else with a question from the council? Okay, before we move on to further discussion on this, is there any public comment regarding this item? You can raise your hand or use the icon for raising your hand. Tracy, do we have anybody?
No, I don't see anybody at this time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, I'm glad, Bill, thank you for bringing up the Airbnb, because I think that's, definitely part of the equation here. It's not just Abbey House and hotel winners, but we need to make sure we get the Airbnbs back online as well. And as much as we hate to ask for our tax money, we need it as badly as they need the business, for darn sure. I'm glad to see that they've got until June 30th to get caught up, because that gives them more time to get through the situation we're in. So, yeah, and I totally agree with Shelley that, the longer we wait, the harder it gets. So I'm glad to see this moving forward myself. So if nobody else has any comments or questions, then we can entertain a motion.
I just have a comment. I think
Sure.
it's
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
no, I think it's really kind and great that the city did this to allow the businesses to, keep money while they need to stay afloat. And I think that it's just a great thing. And with that, I'd like to move the staff recommendation to waive the first reading and to repeal the suspension of section 3.24.080 and 3.24.090 of the Winters Municipal Code concerning payment of TOT.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Lauren and a second by Councilmember New. Tracy, can we please get a roll call vote?
Actually, if Ashley would like to take over at this time, since her appointment has been approved on the consent calendar.
Okay, here we go, Ashley.
Hi, okay, Councilmember Anderson,
Aye.
Councilmember Lauren,
Aye.
Councilmember New,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Biasi,
Aye.
and Mayor Cowan.
Aye. Okay, motion carries unanimously. And with that, we'll move on to discussion item number 2, which is the review and approval of the request for consent to substitute limited partner in connection with year 15 tax credit investor for the Winters 2 apartments. Who's taking this one on?
This one is definitely falling on Lisa Baker's shoulders.
Okay, Lisa,
Good
welcome.
evening. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, members of the public. This is really fun for me because I actually provided technical assistance to the city back in 2008 in my capacity with Yola Housing on the original tax credit deal. And here we are coming up on the end of the 15-year period. And this is a pretty standard piece of business that happens towards the end of the 15-year tax credit compliance component. So just a super short primer on tax credits. In order for a nonprofit to be able to use the credits, they have to be able to sell those. To do that, they get an investor partner who then sells those on an exchange, which creates the money that goes into the development of the complex. And in exchange for that, the IRS requires that investor to own the majority of the property as a limited partner through the tax credit compliance period. And then they can exit towards the end of that. There's about a 5-year window. So Union Bank, which is the syndicator investor, is wanting to exit the deal in conformance with the agreement. And CHOP, Community Housing Opportunities Corporation, and they have negotiated and come to the exit for that in conformance with their original agreement. And the total exit cost for that is about $16,001 for them to be paid through their fees and management fees through the end of the period plus $1 for acquisition. What we're asking the city to do this evening is to approve that transaction. And the reason for this is the city and acting as the former redevelopment agency does have funds in this deal. So your approval is required to allow Union Bank to exit. And in their place, they will be putting in La Riviera, which is a fully owned entity of CHOC. And so there will essentially be no change in ownership or management. And there will be no change in restructure and no cash out on this deal. So we are asking for the city to approve that and allow those loans and allow the
Okay, thank you. And thank you for the echo towards the end. And now mine's echoing. Great. Okay, is there any questions from council? Jesse, go ahead.
I just wanted to speak to the echo. I believe that Pierre has 2 devices on and one's not muted.
And I'm trying to.
If you can mute one, the echo will end for all of us.
I'm trying to mute.
Thank you, Lisa. I have no questions.
There we go. All right, anybody else have any questions or concerns about this? If there's not, Tracy, Ashley, is there anybody from the public that wishes to comment on this item?
I am not seeing any hands raised at this time.
Okay, thank you. With that, if there's nothing further, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll move approval of staff recommendation.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Biasi and a second by Councilmember Lauren. Ashley, we'll have a roll call vote, please.
Okay, Councilmember Anderson,
Aye.
Councilmember Lauren,
Aye.
Councilmember New, Councilmember New. There he is. Mayor Pro Tem Biasi
Aye.
and Mayor Cowan.
Aye. Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, now we're moving on to discussion item number 3, and that's to consider resolution 2020-62, modifying our Main Street traffic circulation in the downtown outdoor dining area. And we're also going to receive an update on the $200,000 we got from the county for the CARES Act funding and how we're allocating those funds. So, who's taking this one? Is this you, Kathleen?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is a two-part item. The first is adopting a resolution, should the council support a proposed change to the traffic circulation on the first block of Main Street. And as you may recall, early in the pandemic, the council took action by resolution to close the first block of Main Street, the eastern half from Railroad to the mid-block crossing, to accommodate temporary outdoor dining as a result of the pandemic. And so this is now a proposal to open up Main Street in that half block area during the week to allow for two-way traffic circulation from the hours of approximately 8 a.m. on Sunday to 11 a.m. on Friday. This two-way traffic circulation would help the businesses on Main Street and relieve some of the pressure on Russell based on some concerns from some of the residents that live on Russell. And so this is kind of a balancing act that will allow two-way vehicle traffic on Main during the lower times where the outdoor dining area isn't used nearly as much. And the expectation is that with the colder weather and the rainy season, there won't be as much usage, at least during the week. And this is a balancing act between the temporary outdoor dining and then vehicle traffic on Main. To facilitate that opening and closing, and also related to the $200,000 CARES Act that the city was able to secure via the county as a sub-recipient, what we've started to implement, or at least put on order, when we expect the deliveries of bollards that can be installed at Railroad and the mid-block crossing. And if there were sufficient funds, perhaps even at First Street, that would allow Public Works to install and remove these temporary bollards, which would make it easier to open up the road to traffic as opposed to trying to move the whiskey barrels. Also to protect the guests of the outdoor dining area and people who are in that area, we've ordered precast concrete barricades that would be installed at basically the edge of the parking area where the parking stalls are, and that would protect the people who are still in the temporary outdoor dining area, while at the same time we're accommodating the two-way traffic. And then during the road closure periods on the weekends, those barricades would still remain in place, but we would be able to overflow into those travel lanes on the weekends. So the hope is that it's a balancing act for the businesses and the residents on Russell, and at the same time, we're still accommodating an outdoor dining area for the businesses in the downtown area. Also related to the CARES Act funding, I've included in the attached to the staff report the subrecipient grant agreement with Yolo County, and that delineates how we intended to use the $200,000 in CARES Act funding, and I've included some of the allocation or the potential allocation of that money in the staff report. And so a portion of that money would be used to reimburse the businesses that helped set up the outdoor dining area early in the pandemic. At the last council meeting, the city council approved approximately $40,000 that would be earmarked for businesses who hadn't already received some direct support from Yolo County in the way of rent or mortgage assistance. Approximately $85,000 is the cost of the precast concrete traffic barriers and the bollards to help create or help provide protection for the temporary outdoor dining area for the two-way traffic. And then some additional money was earmarked to provide additional heating for the outdoor dining area, and also pergolas that are on order that would create some shelter from the rain during the winter season. So that was the original thought when the city entered into this recipient agreement with Yolo County. And I just wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to present that to the city council and to the public so that they understand at least the initial thoughts associated with the use of the CARES Act funding. One of the things that this is a rapidly changing environment, as the city council knows, and since we entered into this agreement, Yolo County is now slid back into the purple tier in terms of restrictions, and there's even some intimation early this week from the governor about the potential of creating sort of a deep purple with some additional restrictions in response to that pandemic surge. And so there's some other thoughts that have been recently floated. We continue to work with the Downtown Business Association and then also the Chamber of Commerce about potentially setting aside some of this $200,000 to assist businesses in different ways. And then one thought that was broached today potentially is that if we slide even deeper into more restrictions, into a deep purple state, that perhaps some of the leftover funds that haven't been committed or earmarked for purchases that are either on order or already delivered, that potentially we create a digital campaign to promote shopping local, takeout local, supporting all the businesses within the community to help develop a campaign to assist them if there are even further restrictions. And so it's a bit of a pivot and quick pivot in terms of how we're trying to support the businesses. But this is essentially these are some of the ideas that have been included and have been earmarked or put in motion already for the $200,000 grant application. So if council agrees with opening up Main Street, then that would be done via the resolution that was included in the updated packet on the website and in your email, and that would allow us to implement two-way traffic as soon as the bollards have arrived and Public Works is able to get them installed on First Street between the Nicola Crossing and Railroad. And then if there are any other questions regarding or any feedback that you'd like us to receive regarding the $200,000 CARES Act, there are a number of us online that are able to answer any questions or discuss the use of the funds. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Kathleen, before we open it up for more questions, I think the first one we want to address is I believe we all got on the council the letter from the Chamber of Commerce
Correct.
With their request for some assistance, and I know, parts of that letter you felt we could possibly help with, and parts not so much, so maybe you could explain that a little bit for us.
Sure. So the Chamber has submitted a request that's broken into several parts. The first portion is $2,700. That is really part of the $400,000 rent and mortgage assistance program that the council's already approved. And so the Chamber pays rent for its own space. And then there's rent that the city has been covering for the Visitors Bureau. This is actually, in her request, this is the rent that is associated just for her space in that building. And so that would be $2,700 from April to December, and that would slide very easily into the rent and mortgage assistance program that is already out there, and that application period is currently open. So the Chamber has been instructed to submit a grant application like other businesses by Monday, which is the deadline. there was $900 that was listed for utility payments for the visitor center. We don't have a program that is covering utility costs for other businesses, and it isn't anything that I think lends itself easily into the CARES Act grant program or the intent of what we're trying to do to support businesses. And so I'm not sure that would fall within the $200,000 eligibility. It isn't a program that we've offered other businesses. So, but she had included $900 on the list. The other two programs that she lists total $4,400, and those are related to the executive directors and CEO's effort to support businesses during the pandemic. She's done a lot of online promotion. She's done some outreach. She's helped with securing reimbursements for some businesses and providing some support related to COVID guidelines. And so she included that information in a total of $4,400 that should the council want to support that, we've reached out to Yolo County to see if those would be eligible expenses within the context of the $200,000 CARES Act grant that the city was able to secure.
And their response was?
I haven't heard back specifically. I mean, I forwarded the information. To me, it seems applicable to the pivot, and the intent of this is pivoting to support businesses within the pandemic. And she's done that work to help support businesses. So in my mind, there's an excess. I mean, we don't have confirmation back from the county, but in my mind, there's an excess.
Okay. Is there any other questions from council for staff or comments?
Yeah, I have a couple comments.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm in favor of the opening Main Street back up for two-way traffic. I know we worked several other options, looking at maybe one-way traffic and what we could do best to accommodate the most diners outside, as well as have traffic. And after working with the police and fire, was narrowed down to the best way to do it for right now is to have two-way traffic and closing it down on Friday and opening it back up on Sunday morning. I think that's a good solution. I believe the fire department and the police department are both on board with that from previous discussions that I heard. As far as the expenditure of the $200,000, I do want to put in a word for the chamber. I think the executive director at the chamber has spent a lot of time reaching out to our local businesses and helping them to do everything that they can to stay in business. He's done a lot of outreach to them and giving them a lot of information. So I think that has been critical to helping our businesses survive. So I would like to see if we can find a way to provide that extra $4,400 that she's requesting for that. If that's allowable through the county's guidelines and we have that money in our funds, I would very much be in favor of us pursuing that and providing that to the chamber.
And anybody else? One other thing I want to mention or ask about is the rent and mortgage assistance. I know the deadline's not till Monday, but what's the response been? And we had what's it been like as far as people applying for that?
So Shelly tallied that information this afternoon. So far, we have 6 completed applications. Both Shelly and I have reached out personally to a number of businesses, and we've also enlisted the assistance of the Chamber of Commerce and the Hispanic Advisory Committee to try and make sure that we get the word out. So we've received 6 completed applications. They don't have a total value, but Shelly may have that readily available. The application period does close on Monday.
Okay, great, thank you. I also want to comment that I agree with Bill, doing what we can to help out the chamber a bit here with this. And I also agree with the two-way traffic layout. I know we've had a lot of discussions and a lot of meetings with police and fire and Chris and some of the others of the Downtown Business Association about how to best do this. And I think for right now, this seems to be the best approach, and it's the least amount of work as far as relining streets and stuff if we went to a one-lane traffic situation, and it should help things on Russell Street. But I see Chris Turkovich with the Business Associations on the call. Would you like to comment on any of this and the CARES Act money or anything, Chris?
Thank you. I think we covered most of it there. It's still kind of in, some of it's been, things have been ordered, things are showing up. I think downtown will start seeing some changes here in the next week to 10 days as some of the infrastructure actually arrives. We don't have a deadline or a receivable date yet from the precast barriers. That's a big one. But with the bollards and the pergolas, those should all be starting to get installed within the next few days to next week. So we'll see. And then there's a lot of discussion going on right now about potential change in tiered citizen zones, because that could change a lot of our protections. Everything we've been working toward for the last few months has been about accommodating outdoor dining. And if it's a possibility that outdoor dining is to be taken off the table, then that changes kind of everything we're looking at doing. So and the deadline with the CARES Act funding is also, we're down to 30 days now to have that spent and installed. So we're kind of coming to a critical time, both from a business standpoint and just a time frame standpoint. So it's trying to do as much as we can and still be flexible up to the last minute on how this gets spent.
Thank you, Chris. Ashley, do we have any other public that would like to comment on this item?
I am not seeing any members of the public. Oh,
We have one.
do you see one?
Yes,
Yeah.
Tina Loudon.
I got it.
She was waiting.
I need my.
Go ahead, Tina.
As I was having lunch this afternoon, and then we had dinner on Monday night downtown, I want to congratulate the downtown group, Chris. It really looks festive, and I think when it looks festive, that people come out, and hearing a lot of the conversations around me, there weren't very many Wedges people. They were mostly from out of the area. I did not go to everybody and say, where are you from? But I know there's a lot of people from out of the area. And I say kudos to your group, Chris. Thank you. And we, all of us in renters, we have to get behind our businesses. We have to spend money, get certificates. We have to do something to keep them afloat. And I know they will help us in the end too. So thank you, Chris, and everybody.
Thank you, Tina. Ashley, do we have anybody else? I think I see Karen May's hand up.
I do. I see Karen May. I actually see you.
Okay. Yeah, take yourself off of mute, Karen.
Okay. I want to echo Tina and to say that we need to get behind the business people. And on Facebook, the Food Creek Cafe already entered a new menu, lower cost than that, but we need to get that word out to more people. And we have the Winter Express been asked to do articles on Chris, on what the downtown business people are venturing to change in that. Chris?
I don't know of any current work written, but we can reach out to Taylor and try to see if we can get something moving here with them. I know there's been some discussion about some promotions through the Winter's Express online. So I'm not sure of anything that's currently in the works, but that's on the agenda to get something going shortly.
Okay, because the key is to get the word out, and not a lot of seniors use the internet at all. So signs, posters, anything like that, besides the newspaper articles, we really highlight the downtown area again and get it going. And we make a point to, once a week at least having something from downtown.
No, it's good feedback. Yeah, we'll work on that, make sure we get some stuff directly to that group there.
Good.
We appreciate it. Thank you for the support.
Thank you, Karen. Ashley, do we have anybody else?
Let me look one more time. I am not seeing anybody waving.
Okay, Councilmember Lauren.
There she is.
Oh, Tina, let's hear Tina first, but I have a comment on Tina's comment. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Jess. Carrie made a very good point. I mean, Karen and I and Marlene, we are, we're on this Zoom and we're okay. But, a lot of the seniors do have disposable income dibs on here too. And some people, especially in new areas, are not getting the newspaper. Just to let you know, Chris, you have a lot of potential out there of the seniors to get the note. Maybe there could be a senior night or something, but we gotta be 6 feet apart. But there has to be maybe some, I know you're all tired about this COVID stuff, but it is here, it'll be here for a couple more months. So just think about that, Chris, on potential for marketing.
And also senior specials.
A good point, yes. Did you hear that, Chris?
I did. We'll start working on that. And as far as communication goes, is that the Senior Foundation, who, other than the paper, where do you recommend us working on that as far as communication?
Signs, big font. Don't do 8 or 10 or 12, big font. Let us know what you have going. That spaghetti thing for the Wooded Creek Cafe, it was through Facebook, through Celia. It wasn't, I didn't get it through the Wooded Creek Cafe, I got it through Celia. So I don't know what's going on, but you gotta chat with each other. You gotta talk to each other. I know where Deb lives out there in the new area. There's a lot of seniors out there, and they're all retired and they got lots of money. Okay.
Thank you, Tina. Councilmember Lauren.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment as the liaison for the Hispanic Advisory Committee. Back at the end of September, the Hispanic Advisory Committee decorated in lieu of our festival. And we asked the businesses to run whatever specials they wanted to run and to keep the money. We wanted to decorate the downtown and let the downtown kind of work with a festive atmosphere to promote their businesses. And I believe they did well. I don't know how they did, but we kept those decorations up until mid-November, and we paid $722 for all the flags and the flowers, and we were able to reuse the flowers. But I just wanted to say that many people, when we were taking them down, said that they came to Winners because it looks so festive, and how it looks, it really draws people, and they told their friends, like it looks like a party. So many people came, and actually when we were breaking down, there was a whole big birthday party of a family, and they were like, we don't have to go now, do we? No, you don't. We're just planning for the next holiday. But anyway, I just wanted to say that the Hispanic Advisory Committee also wanted to support businesses, and that was the way that they did it this year. So thanks.
Yeah, I think that was real successful too. Everybody had specials related to it. And yeah, I thought that went well.
And I was wondering if Chris knew, if anybody, did anybody say, like, were they able, did it help them at all? I believe it did, but I don't know.
It did. I mean, I don't have every business covered on that or had talked about the results, but yeah, it went well, and we did get a lot of feedback about the decorations for the entire month that they were out. That was a huge, kind of what we had done to kind of elevate it, and so not only during the week of the the Carnitas Festival there, but also for the rest of the month, we got lots of positive feedback. So it's much appreciated and something we should do again next year as well.
Yeah, I don't know if there's other organizations like Rotary and, other nonprofits, not that we're a nonprofit, but there might be other organizations that can do some sponsoring of decorations. And I'm sure that if you went to Hispanic Advisory Committee another time, for something, they'd probably help you out. They're all about the community. So we're the community.
Yeah, it's a great group, so appreciate it.
Right.
It looks like Tina has her hand up.
One more time.
Okay, 3 Christmas time, if you look at the Hallmark movie area, they're having a lot of people walking around singing Christmas carols, and I mean, just gotta make it festive, Chris. Dress up as whatever, and just have fun with it. This is amazing. Okay, I'll shut up.
I can't wait to see Christmas and
Yeah, Tractor was
an elf. I know the chamber has a little deal going since we can't do the tractor parade where they're giving cutouts, doing some cutouts that people are decorating and stuff. So I know they're working on kind of their substitution for tractor parade. So and I think there's a couple other things in the works that are coming up during December. So we'll see what we can do to keep the interest up as much as we can with the rules we have to live with. Okay, I think the CARES Act funding stuff was a discussion item. If I'm hearing correctly, it sounds like the council's in support of some of these funds going to help the chamber where we can. It sounds like the $900 ask is something that we don't believe we can do, but the other two items it looks like we might be able to help with. And I don't think we need to vote on that, but I do believe we need to have a motion and a vote on the Main Street circulation revisions.
Mayor, I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Biasi. Jesse,
Lauren seconds.
Okay, and we have a second by Councilmember Lauren. If there's no further comment, Ashley, we will take a roll call vote, please.
Okay, Councilmember Anderson?
Aye.
Councilmember Lauren?
Aye.
Councilmember New?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Biasi?
Okay.
And Mayor Cowan?
Aye. Okay, motion carries unanimously. And let's get out there, everybody, and support our businesses as much as we can, especially with the sun still shining. That's the only good thing about not getting any rain. We can get out and support everybody. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah, Mayor, I just would tack onto what you said about the chamber. They do have those tractor cutouts for sale at the chamber office. You can contact Sue. They're encouraging everybody to go down there and get one of those cutouts. I think they're $50 a piece, and you can paint it, decorate it. There's a number that you'll get with it. Put it out in your yard if you're a resident or a business, and people will be able to go around and vote on the best decorated one and prize money as well.
Yeah, I think it's like $300 first place. So yeah.
We're also encouraging everybody to put up, a lighted tree out in your yard or in your business as well to try to do everything we can. Most of our downtown businesses do a great job decorating already. So.
See, the Barnett's on Russell even put out a tractor and lit it up since we couldn't have a tractor parade.
Yes.
That's where Lauren.
With what Bill said, it reminded me that the Sacramento Valley Region League of Cities is having a photo contest for holidays. So we do have something that's really spectacular in one location. There's up to 4 categories we could submit and win prizes for. So there's that.
Get a good picture of that house on Broadview. They've got every blow up Christmas thing that's ever been made in their yard.
Thank you, Mayor.
That's a good one. All right, and with that, I think we're down.
Mr. Mayor, we have one final item that we pulled off of the
Oh,
consent
that's
calendar for
right.
discussion.
That's right. We gotta go to the appointment of the fundraising committee members, and a city council liaison to the senior center, FF&E, committee. Councilmember New and myself conducted interviews, and we've selected 4 members for the committee. And, the important part is we need to have, a council member liaison for that committee. So, anybody? If nobody wants to take it, I'll take it since I've had some involvement with this already.
If you want to do it, you can take it, but I'll do it if you've got too much going on.
Well, I do, you got it.
I'd be happy to help you in the background here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So would I. Okay, it sounds like Councilmember New is going to be our liaison for the committee. I think maybe we should probably just do a vote to make this official. I see a couple of hands up too that might want to comment on this item before we get to that. I see Deb. Deb's eye.
If you want to include this with this vote, perhaps that you could combine them. I would like to officially recognize Mary Ann Boyer then as being the liaison between that new group and the senior commission.
Okay. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. And I want to thank again Mary Ann, Marlene Bell and Karen May, mixing the 2 names together here, for bringing this to Shelley and I a month or so ago. This is definitely needed, and getting this going early like we are, it gives us a lot of time to get some funds raised and get all this stuff put together. So day one, when the doors open, we'll be fully functional and fully staffed. And thank you so much for bringing this forward, and also for being on the committee. I really appreciate it. Is there anybody else from the public that would like to comment about this item? Marlene?
I'd like to make one comment. Thanks so much for the appointment and for entertaining our idea. We really want this to be a committee that is a community committee. So I'd like to make one clarification. We are not, Karen and I do not represent the Winter Senior Foundation on this committee. We are 2 individuals who sat down one night and started having a conversation, and Karen said, you know, we need to do something about all the equipment and furniture. How are we going to do that? And so by the time we finished talking, it was time to talk to somebody on city council, because that's who the committee belongs to. So we're honored to serve on the committee, but at the same time, we want this to be a community committee, a committee that serves the community, because we don't want to see camps formed inside the Winters Senior Center. We want this to be a community group. And so that's our major focus. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Karen May, go ahead.
I don't know if this makes a difference, but in the packets, on the notes, in one of the 3rd paragraph, 2nd page, it says Marlene, staff and mayor met with Winter Senior Foundation representatives. We need to correct that because we did not come as representatives.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. We can make that correction for sure.
Okay, we want that real clear. That
Yeah, because there's 2 or 3 senior groups in town, and we're hoping that all of them participate
exactly
in this group.
right.
So,
But all the seniors to be,
yeah. There you go.
or those that are denying they're seniors. And I see a few faces there, like, well.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Ashley, do we have anybody else?
It looks like Deb's iPhone has her hand up.
Okay. Deborah,
One last question, will your meetings be public, or will there be an opportunity if somebody wanted to attend or bring forth an idea or some kind of support?
absolutely. Yep,
Okay,
it will be public meetings.
okay.
I found a question, oh, my hands are up.
That's okay. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, you know, plugged it earlier and I didn't have contact for 10 minutes. Anyway, how is the bids coming along? Where do we stand with that for the senior center? I know the bids went out.
For construction, is that what you?
Yeah.
I don't believe the bids have gone out. Lisa Baker can provide a little bit more information. I know she's still online, but we haven't issued the bid package.
Okay.
So,
Hi, this is Shelley. We actually have not received the contract from CDBG yet, so we can't do anything, and we're just patiently waiting to get that in so we can sign it and get started.
but there is some additional work going on at the senior housing next door. So there have been some bids requested for some of the low voltage work there. So people might be confusing that with the senior center. But yes, we're still waiting for the CDBG grant from the state on the agreement so that we can bill against that and put the bid package together.
Okay, great. Thank you for the update. All right. If that's all, then we will entertain a motion.
Can I, Mayor, can I ask you a question?
Well, maybe. Okay.
I know we're not gonna have the festivities that we generally have, but is there going to be lights on that beautiful tree?
Well, actually, I had a conversation today with Eric from Public Works. And I know he's been talking with Jose, because Jose and his crew from Anvil Electric have taken over the tree lighting. And I believe they're going to begin that process tomorrow. Although we're actually considering using one of the trees across from Steady Eddie's, simply because it has a nicer shape to it. So there's been some discussion about that. But my understanding is they're going to start decorating something tomorrow. We've got the lift here in town for them and ready to go. So I believe so. We should have a lit tree by the end of the week.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Okay. Councilmember Lauren.
Yeah, I just had a question for City Manager Treppa. When she does her staff report, if there's any information or update on the charging stations that are coming from Valley Clean Energy and the SACOG grant, I'd love to hear about it. I don't know if that's something we have time for tonight. If it's not something that has been recently reviewed, but I'd love to hear more about that.
Okay, I think before we get to that though, I think we need to make it official that Pierre is going to be our primary for representation and just our vote of approval on the formation of this committee. So we'll take a motion for that and then take care of that, and then we'll get the city manager's report. Mayor Pro Tem Biagi.
I move that the council appoint Marlene Bell, Karen May, Marianne Boyer, and Sandy Victory to the Winter Senior Center Furniture Fixtures Fundraising Committee and appoint Councilmember New as the liaison to that committee.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Biagi, a second by Councilmember Lauren. Ashley, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Councilmember Anderson.
Aye.
Councilmember Lauren.
Aye.
Councilmember New.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Biasi.
Aye.
And Mayor Cowan.
Aye. All right, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Marlene and Karen and Sandy and Tina and everybody for being on the committee. Looking forward to you guys getting going here.
Thank
All
you.
right, with that, we're going to move on to the city manager's report. Kathleen?
Hi, following up on Councilmember Lauren's request, actually Eric Lucero was on the call and he can provide an update on the charging station. So he has some information he can share on that item.
Great.
Hi, Eric.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. So basically where we are with this project is it's kind of in the hands of West Valley Construction is the company that is doing the underground in the alleyway, the Dukes Expressway. And so our project is kind of tied in and waiting to see what they're going to do. And basically right now it's not so much of installing them that we need to wait on. We're just waiting for them to look at the specs and the project list that we put together with the layout of the type of chargers we're going to use, where we're going to locate them, and then the power that we're going to need. And so there's going to be a transformer that gets put in to, well, there's 3 transformers that get put into the alleyway. 2 of them are going to be in that pocket park, kind of up against the fence by Ace Hardware. And then 1 gets put in right next to the landscape area as you come out of the alley on First Street. And that kind of impedes into a parking spot. So once he gives me the layout of exactly what the size of that is, after talking to a local friend of mine, I found out that we can't just put car chargers wherever we want. They have to be accessible, or one of them has to be accessible. So we're planning on always putting the chargers up against the hotel. Now we're going to bring the chargers out to First Street because it allows us to be able to kind of put a cutway in so that we will have the accessibility pathway. So to kind of round up what I'm getting at is the West Valley Construction is kind of looking at the project we put together, and then he's going to tell us, you know, yeah, this is we've got the power for it with the transfer that we're putting in, and this is the good location for it. And then after that, I can kind of give council a better description, maybe a quick little presentation of where we're going to put them, what they're going to look like. Same thing goes true with the community center. Same thing, one of them has to be accessible. So as we do that, we lose a parking stall every time we have to make it accessible, because we have to have, whether it's van accessible or it doesn't have to be van accessible, it has to be at least a 6-foot path. But the other criteria for the parking stall is, for whatever reason, the parking stall has to be a 12-foot parking stall rather than a 9-foot parking stall. So when you put the 12-foot parking stall together with the 6-foot accessible path, it equals the same as 2 parking stalls. So why they do that, I have no idea. But so anyhow, that's kind of where we are on it. It's not that we haven't done anything. We're just waiting for West Valley Construction to get back to us and say, hey, this is going to work. And then we can start doing the work of kind of cut, because we're going to have to cut into the concrete curb that kind of outlines the parking stall along First Street and make a path that ties into the sidewalk. And then I know tomorrow we are receiving, I think, 4 let's see, total of 8 banners from Valley Clean Energy. And now that we're into their, I don't know what you call it. Right. So they're sending us some banners they want us to post up on some of our streetlights. And so there's 4 different posts that we use. They're double banners and they're double sided. So they kind of have a criteria I need to get with them to make sure that we're on the same page of where they're going to go, because now what they're kind of saying, they want 4 in a row, and there's very few places in town that we could actually do that where you see the banners. So anyhow, that's part of the rollout that we are doing. I just got notice they were supposed to be here today. We should be here tomorrow. I'll get with them, make sure that we put them where is going to be good for them and for us. But as far as the project goes, it's moving forward. We're good to go. It's just kind of a hiccup in now we're just changing where we're going to do it. We got to do a little bit more work to make it happen, but it's going to happen.
Thank you, Aaron.
Great. Thank you for that update.
Mayor Wade and I sit on their, on their board, and with the rollout coming, we kind of, want to let people know that they're contributing to our community.
Right.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Kathleen, back to you.
Yes, thank you. The other thing I wanted to do is more formally recognize Tracy Jensen. I don't know if she's going to participate in the next city council meeting. I know she has some plans to take some time, and her retirement is the end of the month. But it's always sort of a bittersweet moment after you've devoted so many years to an agency, the community, and an organization. And Tracy has been here for a number of years, and I apologize, Tracy. I know you're on the line, and I don't recall how many years you've been here with the city of Winters, but it's sort of a change in an era when a long-term employee decides to retire or decides to move on. So I did want to formally recognize Tracy for all of her years of service with the city of Winters. And I don't know if she wants to say a few words, if she's still on the line.
Thank you, City Manager Treppa. It's been 15 short years. The time has just flown by, and it has been my pleasure to serve council and the city.
Thank you very much, Tracy.
You're quite welcome.
It's been great working with you, and I wish this meeting was in person because then we'd be having cake.
We would be. Oh, well, I'll have some when I get home.
There you go. But thank you so much for all you've done over all these years for the city.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You took on a lot of roles, and helping with the pool, with so many different things, the community center. So that's one thing about a small town. You have to be capable of wearing multiple hats.
Yep, I've been a Jacqueline of all trades.
That's so true. So true. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tracy.
You're welcome.
And then the only other item I wanted to update the council on, and it was a conversation that started before I was appointed, and it relates to the update to the housing element. And I know that there was some conversation previously about community engagement. So I've had an opportunity to meet with both Beth Thompson, the consultant who's working on the housing update, and then also Lisa Baker and Dave Dogwell about the housing element update. And we're looking at a proposal by the consultants for community engagement. That's sort of a multi-pronged approach. The first would be, given the pandemic environment, would be a recorded video presentation on housing elements and their role and how they get updated and what some of the legal requirements are. And then a portion that's specific about Winters housing element and information about Winters. That would be in English and in Spanish, and then that would be the precursor to a survey that would solicit input from members of the community in both English and Spanish about housing needs and priorities. So we're going to take a look at that, and Lisa Baker's going to assist with that, as well as Dave Dogwell. And then we'll push that out on all of our platforms to try and direct people to this video and to the survey, which will reside on our website. It'll be open for about 30 days, and then that will allow the consultants to get community input that will help them finish up some draft policies. And then we would follow up with, again, a live video workshop via Zoom in the current pandemic environment that would allow the consultant to present the draft housing element, to present the draft policy, allow for some additional feedback from the community and the city council, and allow for questions and answers as part of finalizing that draft. So that's the program that we're looking at. There's some slight budget issues associated with that, and so we're reviewing the budget to see how much we can accommodate. There might be some additional costs for doing some translation, but we're hoping that given all of the community resources, that we'll be able to find somebody who can do the voiceover for the Spanish translation of the video presentation. And then the survey is already in Spanish, and we can make some modifications to that and have that translated easily enough. So we're hoping to put the finishing touches on a program that we'll be able to roll out and then really promote throughout the community in the next month.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Okay.
If nobody has anything else, we will close the meeting at 7:43. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Turn on the sound.